What you could also do in the chat as we head into the draft is hit *socials, because this is not the first cut. This is not the last cup the Method will be doing for Heroes of the Storm. In fact, it's one of several. Find out more details about those cups and future Method stuff by following them on Twitter at twitter.com/Method. And with !socials, you can find their Instagram and everywhere else that Method is and wants to hear from you. So thank you all for watching. Make sure to follow Method as ETC and Ana are removed in the draft.
Yeah, that brings us right away into the grand final, our first map in the best of 5 series. So Ana and ETC already eliminated in the draft here. Pretty quickly, actually. The Ana ban against Banana, yeah. It never gets old. It's once again just him not able to play that hero. Whereas ETC, of course, banned out against Breeze. It's a highlight. This game is going to be epic. So best of 5 series here. First map, also Battlefield of Eternity. Fireworks more or less guaranteed, and this should be good. Li Ming gets eliminated from the game as well. And what is Last Dance banning out against Washed Up now?
We will find out. One more ban. Is it Rhaegar, double support ban, or maybe Johanna, maybe even Garrosh? We saw some scary Garrosh play earlier in the day, not from this team, but it was still rough to deal with. Or perhaps Immortal Race potential. Greymane still available. Vala still available. It is going to be that Garrosh.
Yeah, Garrosh is out. First pick now. Could see, again, one on the support side. If you're going for that, then maybe even an early Rhaegar pick again for Hazorps and his boys here. There's, of course, a couple of options when it comes to the Immortal Pressure. Reyna, good pick. In the past, oftentimes also first pick for Washed Up.
Well, let's see. It's going to be Tassadar. Stealing it away from Chris. I 100% dig it. Makes a lot of sense. Tassadar, Hasu's good at it. Chris is good at it. Just makes sense as a pickup.
Yeah, I could actually see that the hero being banned out in a couple of the games later on again. Which is pretty much what happens in most of the series. Early on, you still see Tassadar getting picked. And then later on, as the series continues, Tassadar oftentimes ends in one of the ban slots. Could definitely be what's happening in this one as well. But of course, it allows the double pick for the Last Dance. And there we have the 2 heroes that I just mentioned a second ago as potential first picks for Washed Up. Since Tassadar was taken, both of them end up in the hands of Last Dance. Reyna plus Rhaegar, the Bloodlust combo again.
Makes sense to me. It's already looking good for the Last Dance draft-wise. What did the Washed Up pick to counteract it? Johanna's still available once again. Support-wise, they could probably leave it, but they might not want to get choked out, so we might see the Anduin or the Stukov. But nope, they're stealing the Yrel away from Wobby as well. It's all steals today coming in from Washed Up. Quasar, who's also been playing a lot of Yrel this tournament, picking that up very early. And Johanna, blinds, stuns, all sorts of disengage and disruption.
Yeah, definitely very helpful setup for them now, as is. And they're still, of course, missing their support. They're still missing also a bit of additional damage, but there's still plenty to go around on those 2 fronts. Now, when it comes to damage, there's the Greymane ban. Okay, so the one thing that we have to point out is that at this point, Washed Up doesn't really have anything specifically for the Immortal yet. There are options around. Vala could be a potential one. We have Li Ming ban, Greymane ban, Reyna taken, so options are starting to be a little bit more limited. But there are still choices up for them. And I mean, Battlefield of Eternity is not really the map I'm worried about it, but I really want to see if on the upcoming maps we're going to see Carrigan banned against Nick, because that has been a bit of a talking point for a long time. And as I said, the last time that I saw Nick play Carrigan, he got 16 kills or 17, so we talked about this earlier. I want to see if Last Dance actually lets it go through later on or not. Just talking about it right now, I don't think it's becoming an issue now, but Nick is still one of the players that needs to pick, and so it kind of was fitting.
Yeah, still there. It's always hovering over the heads of the Last Dance, so we'll have to keep an eye out on it for the future. Ooh. Here it comes, Thrall and Arthas coming in here, and that is interesting because that looks like the way they're hovering their heroes. This might be a 3-man frontline hyper carry Reyna, as Poik is currently hovering the Thrall.
I mean, it definitely should be. I don't think that we're going to see an Arthur's main tank anytime soon, so that setup would definitely put Chris into the only range damage category. But it also allows for Nick to now react to this, and what are we going to get from him? It's Kira again. Kira and Deckard Cain. The old man comes into play, a little bit more control through all of that. Yeah, interesting setup. That Arthur's in particular will be kind of cool to see how much of an impact Booby can have with this, as we're waiting for Breezes here to be taken.
It's triple frontline versus what is almost certainly going to be triple frontline. The question is, what frontline is it? With Arthas on the board, we could see something like a Nubarak, perhaps, as leaders will have a little bit of the pressure taken off him. Or it could be the Muradin, but it is in fact a Nubarak coming in for Breeze as the final pickup here. It's a lot of dive potential coming in for the last dance, and Acid Drenched Mandibles will combo very well with Arthas.
Yeah, that's going to be super interesting now if they can, how much value they can get out of this. I don't know, I kind of like what Washed Up has in general. I really feel that they could do a lot with that. Hasada and his Q can definitely turn the tides here a little bit. Banana H on Deckard Kane, if he doesn't get locked down himself, then he always has a chance to provide a few seals. There is the potential that Washed Up is walking away with this. It's really a coordination effort at the end of the day, I suspect, but it's a hype one. I like it. It's a good setup. Very aggressive one for the first game, and that's exactly what we want here.
Absolutely. Nick's Kira is where I really have the concern here. Not in terms of concern for Washed Up, concern for the last dance. Last time we saw Kira, especially on this map, Nick was 1v3ing. Are they going to be able to turn that? They have the Arthas now. Keep Kira in place. Maybe they can use that for kills. And Thrall may be able to do enough damage to burst her down, but it's still very, very scary. Will they have enough? Will they have enough? We will be finding out very shortly as we will be loading into the map.
Yeah, I feel like, again, this sets the pace for the game, for the entire series a bit. This is more of a team fight-oriented map than others, where the macro aspect might give a bit of an advantage over to Last Dance, but it should be a highlight for sure. And we're going to see how control actually works out for between the two teams now. And I think setting the stage here for the rest of the series is super important, and Battlefield of Eternity can certainly do that, especially with lineups like this. I'm hyped for it. This is awesome. This is a great first map.
We are heading into the game. Ladies and gentlemen, the hype must continue and the train must keep rolling as it's time for game number 1 of the Grand Finals. Washed Up on the left, the last dance on the right. So we are heading in. Split up. Arthas in the off lane for Wubby. I'm curious to see the build for this, because that is going to be interesting, because we did see an auto-attack Arthas earlier on in the day, and Crash Lightning, baby.
Yeah, Trash Lightning comes in. That's actually going to be a lot of fun already, because oftentimes now on the map you will see the Trolling Thunder instead, and Thrall taking to the solo lane. But if you are able to go into the 4-man rotation, then Trash Lightning is actually a really good talent to have, because if you are able to stack it, the damage into the late game is fantastic. But you won't really be able to do a whole lot with it if you are stuck on the solo lane. But here's where Wubby, of course, comes into play. Now, Nick is also still sitting towards the top side and is trying to get some extra damage in. We don't even need to kill him. Just them. Ooh, if they can, it would be fantastic. But just a little bit of extra damage is helping the Quasar on the lane and would allow Kira now to rotate down. And also a 2 versus 3 setup makes it initially a little bit harder for Thrall to get decent stacks together on his Crash Lightning, and you want to prevent that for as long as possible.
He will acquire one though. Zalia also rotated up to top lane. He's gone for Wolf Run here for faster rotations. So we'll actually allow him to rotate up, heal Arthas, and make it back down. And it's exactly what he did. Very cool to see here. Crash Lightning, 2 stacks. Not bad for Thrall so far, as Poik takes some damage. But he gets out. He plays it safe. He keeps he keeps the stacks even if he dies, but he's able to stay in lane and keep acquiring those stacks.
Yeah, the 4-man is really important for him here. And this is also where Washed Up, of course, is forced to spread out a little bit more. It's really up to them to make that work. It's going to be tricky, of course, if you're trying to go for the camp at the bottom of the map. Breeze on his little love bug is also rushing around here, just barely jumping out. Urel is there too. Nice flick towards the wall, but the camp is still taken. That rotation from Urel from the top lane definitely helped them a lot. Now Arthas on the minimap, as you can see, is going into a bit of a different position because he wants to slow this down. So he wants to slow the rotation down to steal experience away from them. But in this case, at least, Urel doesn't really care, jumps over, and doesn't really lose too much, but you can tell that there's now a slight difference in experience. And that is something that Wubby is going to try and do now pretty reliably. But this, on the other hand, is a problem. Nicely done by Nick. Well played. They get the kill against Thrall. Not only fantastic because they get the early kill, but also because it slows down his stacking even more.
Fantastic kill there. Very nicely done. That was all set up by Banana Rage with the Sapphire into his root there. He was able to pick up a nice cheeky kill as level 4 is hit for the last dance. Even though they did lose a member, they've been able to soak quite well here. Here it is for Washed Up, though. Both teams able to hold together. And it looks like it's going to be more of a standard build for Arthas, going for the Frozen Wastes at level 4. No cheeky Icy Talons this game.
Yeah, not in this one. But what I still want to highlight also a bit is that in the setup that is being played here, while the experience lead goes over to Last Dance, if they can control the stacking on Thrall, that would be great for them towards the late game. And I really think that that could become a bit of an issue. Thrall is amazing when you can get those early stacks together and then you have continuous poke throughout the later stages of the game, which would also work, of course, for the rest of the team to get good value there. But if you get slowed down on this already early on, then it's really tricky for Thrall to get serious value out of this. And we'll have to see how much poke can actually do as the game continues. In this case, though, Nick barely making it out. The Rhaegar coming in for the last fight, but Zelia is not able to connect that. The halftime show, on the other hand, also goes to the Last Dance, or at least it's about to. Well, as I say that, Hazu is also falling. Ooh, this is getting a little bit spicy. They're losing out on the halftime show on the Immortal, and they just lost Asada. So Last Dance with a lot of momentum in that fight. Nicely done by them.
Looking very good with that kill. They now have a bit of potential as they move forward. Zalia pulling back, playing safe here as Breeze also dropped below. Feels bad playing a Nubarak. He doesn't have a huge amount of health. Poik backs up, and Wobby able to buy a lot of time for his team. Multi-man route. They're all able to back up, but that's not stopping Poik, just running in and continuing to slowly work this down as Hasawobs tickles the Immortal.
Yeah, that's one of the problems that they have. The lineup, of course, is nice for some of those team fights. The problem is if it just comes to Immortal pressure, you are not even holding a candle to what the Last Dance is running here. But they can maybe get that kill, and indeed they do. Arthas is down, Whoopi is eliminated, but they need a little bit more if they really want to take the objective. So a bit of chase going on, the stacks keep coming, as Arthas is able to connect another chain lightning. Arthas, of course, is still 5 seconds out, but Tacita is trying to work on the Immortal HP.
This is where Thrall actually is getting a lot of stacks here, because really Poik is uncontested here. He's slowly working down the Immortal, and because there's a 4-man defense and Tassadar takes so long to deal with this, he's getting stacks for days. He's about to run out of mana though, as they do try to take the fight. Azelia is knocked back, good disengage by Dequaza, but finally we do see some ground gained by the Last Dance, and they will take the Immortal.
Yeah, they claim the Immortal. They're also on level 7 now, a bit sooner than their opponent, so that's good. Ancestral Wrath comes in as usual. Iceborne Fortitude, we got the cleanse in. Yeah, and off we go. Top side, level 7 is needed for Hazo, Ops, and his boys. They should get this in a moment. At least if Urel is able to get some experience at the bottom of the map, it shouldn't be a problem, and there it is. So 7 now for both teams. And 14 stacks for Thrall. He's 15. And that's only 5 minutes in. That's a really, really nice stacking process for Poik. This is looking great for them.
Arthur's also up to 82% in the bot lane, was able to duel with Urel for a bit. Chris knocks back in though, Ruby's down in the root, and this has basically been guaranteed kills each time they've done this. Nick with the revolving swing into the Ruby, into the Sapphire, and then the root of Decade Cane has worked every time they've done it.
Yeah, the kills that they're picking up are really nice. The problem, again, it's a little bit of the setup in the early game, right? You get kills, but the death timers are still very low, so you don't really get a lot out of the kills. The opponent will be back with 5 on the map after just a few seconds. So one of the reasons why they struggle around the objective. They now take a lead in the experience, washed up that is, but during the objective battle, they still need to make up for the fact that they don't have a really good tool against the Immortal. If you compare it to Last Dance. A big fight up at the top, on the other hand, is a bit of a different story. Arthas is already in trouble, and Whoopi goes down. Taken apart here, and that's another kill now for Washed Up. If they can continue that, they will be in a great spot once we're hitting the mid and late game.
Pre-level 10 Wobby, Arthas having trouble. This is kind of what we did expect seeing the hero. Now, which is a shame, because I was looking at this composition and being like, you know what, Bloodlust plus Syndragosa would be super memes and fantastic. With the amount of times he's died, it's definitely not happening. We will be seeing the standard Army of the Dead to, well, try and keep Wobby alive in these fights.
I mean, now it's all about the camps again. Level 10, of course, for Washed Up as an early tool in this would be awesome for them, and they're gonna get it. Last Dance will, at least initially, lose some HP on their Immortal, but they still got that Jimmy factor over there. So that's going to be huge. And now with level 10 abilities, it's of course always a bit of a game changer for as well. So that needs to be highlighted here too. Top side. I mean, look at that Ford. Despite the fact that we have 4 kills against 1, the Ford is incredibly low. And Last Dance is already aggressively pushing it again.
They're really putting on some pressure here, moving forward. And look at how the Last Dance are positioning. They are backing out of here. And for good reason, especially due to Kira's level 10. Unrelenting strikes. We got the stuns this time. And so far, these stuns have been super impactful from the team. So even more CC is terrifying. But there's level 10 for the Last Dance, and they move forward.
Yeah, they move forward, but look at the Immortal. There is not even a big lead or anything for Washed Up, despite the fact that they had the earlier level 10. They didn't have a lot of wiggle room here. There was no massive time window or anything. So now it comes back to that team fight potential again. And of course, all of these stalemates here, they allow Poik to stack even more. And he is going to do an incredible poke damage job later on in the game if he can really complete his Crash Lightning this quickly. So he's looking quite strong here. Good job by Masquerade, stepping forward a bit to make sure that it doesn't bounce. But still, Poik is doing great on the stacking.
He really is, but like you said, Masquerade playing in nicely. Zalia gets a drop, but Hasuob's getting stacks and damage. Dequaza in a lovely position to take out this flank. Just misses Chris, who was able to back up. And this is exactly the kind of situation the Last Dance wants. They want to just defend and neutralize. They can clear out the lane, grab XP, and let Thrall stack. Whereas Washed Up, they're just trying to look for an opening to take the fight.
Yeah, and that opening might actually just present itself to Last Dance, yeah, but yeah, not quite. Let's look at all of the forts in the game. Let's have a bit of a look of which team initiates first here. So right now, again, missing Dequaza actually, who moves out with the Divine Steed immediately.
Wobby being engaged on here. Dekka's not in position this time though, and Wobby will escape. Stays alive, getting healed up. Rhaegar doing his best here. Poik wrapping around. He got separated from the team a bit here, but he's coming in from the side. No stacks gained there. Everyone is just trying to find the right angle, trying to gain the better positioning, but Dekka's zoning is so good right now. And Crash Lightning is complete.
Jesus. 9 minutes and 53 seconds and he is done. Okay, that's nuts. That's absolutely nuts. Like, oh my god. He's gonna have so much damage later on. He will have an insane amount of poke damage with this. And dealing with all of that is gonna be tricky. I mean, he's not the only one stacking in the game. We, of course, got on the other side also Tacita, but still, having a Thrall that completes this 10 minutes in is just like an insane asset for the team.
Wobby's done as well with throws and wastes. Massive amount of extra damage and slow potential that will stack up. Gonna make it a very, very hard to fight melee into the Last Dance here. Wobby finds Dequaza hanging out in a bush.
It's just absolutely crazy. We are like 10 minutes in already. And this objective is still being fought over. Whoopi, on the other hand, there's the engage. They're trying to go in. The Blessed Shield coming out too, and they're trying to go for the kill, but the Thrall Earthquake is already getting used. The old man comes in with the stay a while and listen. Not able to capitalize on it yet. A lot of our buttons being pressed, but nobody dying yet. The rotation topside, though, as Last Dance is trying to get towards the Immortal, and this time they actually get the hit in, and that's just too much damage. That's nothing that Washed Up can contest in any way. They burn the Immortal down to 50 HP. Good rotation, well done, nice opportunity.
Very nice indeed. That last cleanse in the team fight as well was fantastic from Rhaegar. Zalia on point in this game, keeping Arthas alive, and finally Wobby's able to use Army of the Dead to keep himself alive in a team fight, but not being able to get a kill on the backside of that Bloodlust, not going to feel good. They have, however, been able to grab some XP, grab a fountain, top themselves up. Now they're looking for their opportunity to try and win the race. And Reyna, currently undefended, looks like that might be it, but with the Archon dropped here, will Poik suffer for it? Poik backs away, there's a Cocoon, Reyna blinded, but the Immortal dropping very low.
Yeah, Nick nearly getting a kill against Thrall now too, doing a really good job on Kira. The fight on the other hand coming in, Zalia trying to get away, he's able to get out for just a second, but gets slowed again, locked in the force wall, and the doggy is down. They take the Chihuahua apart, and now Chris is getting wrecked as well. Double kill for Washed Up, as Breeze is trying to get the last 2 hits in against the Immortal.
They still have Thrall, they still have Poik, he continues to zap, he's trying his best, but he's got no mana. He's got enough more than he can chew here. There's level 13s for Washed Up, and they are unable to win the objective. They do still lose the Immortal to Breeze, sneaking in behind them, but They pick up lots of kills, and they get over half a level lead.
7 kills against 1, but the second Immortal that they lose. Not having a hero that can chunk those hit points down is a mad problem at this point. I mean, again, they're unlikely to lose the fort here. It could still happen if the red team is willing to push in. But you look topside, and of course they're splitting the attention on several lanes now, so one of the forts is going to fall for sure. And they're going to lose the second one at the bottom as well, aren't they? So they lose 2 forts in this push, despite the fact that they have 7 kills against 1. It's actually kind of nuts.
Ooh. Bless Shield sidestepped here. Last Dance nearly putting themselves in a rough position if they died there, but they stay alive. Arthas, extra damage on the Frozen Wastes at that level 13 as they finally get their own. It is going to be Storm Shield, the Earthen Shield coming in here for Xaydia on that Rhaegar, not going with what we have been seeing more normally, which is the extra healing cooldown reduction. Chris, no healing cooldown reduction for him unless you count the Hall of the Storms healing him from dead.
He got absolutely murdered in this one. It was a fantastic wall from Hazorps. Talking Hazorps, Hazor is sitting somewhere at like 165, or by now I guess maybe more stacks on his queue. So it's not only Thrall that is doing a fantastic job on stacking. We mentioned this a bit earlier when we were looking at the drafts with the triple frontline that is being played by the Last Dance now. Of course, Thrall with the Crash Lightning, a little bit more of a highlight there. But let's not forget that Hazada is also getting some serious numbers onto the board for the team. And they have a level lead still, so with all the kills that they're getting, should be able to do well here. 170 stacks for him now, yeah, this is gonna hurt too.
They have to be careful with these team fights though, with now we can see on Decade Kane the Ancient Blessings, and this is where they can really get a big turnaround fight if they're able to kite out that Bloodlust. But Anubrak, Acid-Drenched Mandibles, even more damage coming out from this team, may be able to use that for turnaround, for chase potential, combining with Arthas, of course, who has that extra damage on his Frozen Wastes. They have potential to fight this.
Yeah, I mean, again, the 16 talent is going to be the big problem, I feel.
Yeah.
So, of course, if you can pick up that kill and isolate someone, then it's a completely different story. But for the time being, I really think that Washed Up should now be able to get a lot more done with this one. If you play a composition like this, you're trying to go for the team fights, right? You're not racing the objective. And so far, they've done exactly that. They won the team fights, they did a good job there, and now they're trying to do a little bit more with it. But they need to win an objective. There's 2 ways you can do that. Either you can try and race your opponent, or you just kill all of them and then you take it when they're dead. And that's pretty much what they're trying to do right now. Or at least tell us, Dan, listen, you boys don't want to fight us, because if you do, then you're in trouble. And talk about trouble, Wubby might experience that, and Tassadar just chunked him down so quickly. Holy hell, that damage output now.
Tassadar was really insane. That was a 4v5 though. Reyna finally going to return from bottom lane where he was clearing up some mercenaries and the minions. Rhaegar also now clearing the minions, so he's not here for this fight as they move into the defensive position. No one counter-racing. Chris just here for a team fight as Oracle sees everything that's going on.
Yeah, Urel at the top is now moving over, has taken the camp down. Yeah, Jimmy on the right side, trying to do his thing. So once more, the blue team has to force it. Epicenter is now in play as well. We got the Thunderstorm too, and yeah, that's one way on how the stacks don't really matter that Poik has. If you just kill him at the beginning of every single fight, you're gonna do well there. Bloodlust on the other hand, trying to turn around. Yeah, Banana Rage!
Banana Rage taken out. Xaydia wrapping around from the side as we can see Wobby dropping low. Unrelenting Strikes is popped early. Wobby in full retreat. Oh dear, Descartes is going to pop him here. Taken out. That looked good for a bit. Wobby got a massive choke point delay there, doing so much damage and rooting everyone. But with Thrall gone, they did not have anywhere near enough damage to finish off anyone in the fight.
Yeah, Jimmy was also in trouble there, so this is going to be the first objective for Washed Up. And this one needs to matter now. They lost 2 forts. They need to do something about this right now. They have 11 kills against 2. It's a bit more than a level lead. They dominate the team fights, but on the objective side, they always struggle throughout the game. It's a 40% shield, roughly, and this is really the moment where you need to put the pedal to the metal and say, like, all right, let's crush through the top lane, take that fort down, and see if we can maybe even annihilate that wall on the keep. Maybe follow up with some kills. Just build them some momentum, you know?
Yeah, some momentum would be nice for them because they have been so ahead in XP for so long, like you said. As we see the Immortal pushing in. Third of its health as a shield. Let's see what the last dance could do on this defense. They have everyone here. Wobby's actually playing very aggressively. He has that root on level 16. They're going to try and take down Johanna here. But the root from Deckard looking good. Cleanse has to be dropped. Stay a while and listen, though, as Urel comes in from the side. Wobby is the target. He might have to drop his ult here if it's off cooldown, which it isn't. No, sorry, he just used it as he backs away. Healing up. He's alive. Wobby staying in the fight. Backs away as Bloodlust had to be used to escape. No kills on either side. Look at the health bars have washed up. They were barely even damaged.
Yeah, now the wall is falling, which is exactly what you want if you're a fan of the blue team. So once more, Dequaza is jumping in on Zirel. Wooby is coming in with a bit of flank, now back to full HP. And there's the Archon setup. And immediately we have the Cocoon out.
That will buy them some time.
That got shut down quickly. They can go for the keep now. They have actually a chance of taking this down if they can just buy a little bit more time. Oh, there it is. Calculated.
Going with the final hit of the Immortal Stun here, but now look at this. A level and a quarter lead for Washed Up. That's going to hit them level 20. It's so much more advanced as long as they don't mess this up. Oh, it's something. It's a number. As we see, Ragnar back, Flesh Shield onto Raider. This could be it. Chris focus down. Force Wall. See ya, Chris. Breeze, he's speeded out of there with his shed exoskeleton. The rest of the team has got to get out of here alive or they will be in serious trouble. Wobby, no. Wobby, no. He's closed in.
Run, others, run. Yeah, that's not happening. He gets murdered as well. That's 13 kills to 2. They're nearly on level 20 now, and they are dominating these fights. The entire setup is, of course, as we highlighted now multiple times, more so designed to win the team fights than winning a fight around the objective or a race on the objective HP, and that's exactly what they delivered here. So there was not enough time for Last Dance to really build up the momentum they would love to have with this, despite the fact that Poik finished his stacking on the Trash Lightning super early in the game, even before the 10-minute mark. But now with the top keep gone, double camp pushing the top side, they're moving to the bottom of the map, they're easily taking the fort for free down to 50% HP, can whenever move in with the camp to try and drop it completely. But the next Immortal is already being announced just as we have level 20 in. This is a great setup for Washed Up to lock in a victory on map number 1.
Yeah. This should be it for Washed Up. The Last Dance, they have one last chance, really, and that is to survive Washed Up's level 20, including what could be a core push, seeing as, well, bot lane is actually still got a 4, so that'll buy them time. It's not going to last longer than like a few seconds, but if they can live till level 20 and win a team fight, they do have the openings they need to try and move in and win the game. But it's a big if, as we see Breeze getting popped like a balloon. Oh, Cleanse, never mind, he out.
Yeah, Anubara gets out. Top fort is about to fall, and of course the Immortal is now open for attacks as well. There's another wraparound attempt, and Anubara, they go for the bug report. They're trying to fix this one. But Tassadar again cocooned, and this time the kill against the old man. He was trying to come out with the ult, but he couldn't really. And Ubarak is dead finally, as the Archon is obviously just starting to shell away here. But Arzos is trouble too, and gets annihilated. Everybody's dead and dying. Kira down, Thrall eliminated, Tassadar dead. They go for the Equaza. He pops the ult as they're barely getting out. There's a double cancel at the bottom of the map, trying to go for the keep now too. But it seems like just the Last Dance were able to win the fight without level 20 talents.
They held it the second the Archon was used. They dropped the cocoon on it, and the second Deckard K dropped the sleep. He was killed by Arthas's passive E activation. They did all get silenced, but it was enough for them to take a fight advantage. And in this case, they come out ahead and they race that Immortal as best they can. With Chris basically uncontested in that fight, he did a good job, but they gotta get out of there. Bless Shield, Wobby in trouble, he hits 20. He picks up ghouls, but they're on cooldown. Wobby, no, he roots and he will escape.
Yeah, bot lane gets still pressured. Rhaegar moved down initially to defend it, but then he was moving into the middle of the map again to help Wobby a little bit. But
Chris White.
Oh, Breeze. All right. There's the pause over here, but just look at the minimap. Top lane is getting pressured, so Anubarak is actually the one trying to deal with that. Rhaegar, in the meantime, is defending the bottom. And of course, towards the left side now in this 3-2-3 situation, we have Chris kind of caught at the wrong side of the map, I want to say.
Versus Johanna and Urel. If he has his E, and Arthas can get to him, I can see him leaving.
I mean, I can only assume that the reason that Breeze is actually pausing the game here is that Chris is having some troubles, and the bot just thought, you know what would be a great idea? Walk into enemy territory and take that Immortal down.
He heals. He's on the run.
Goodbye. Just goodbye.
Here comes
No.
Wobby. Root missed.
No.
Root not landing, and Chris is down. That is really bad news.
Yeah, there's the kill right there. And that couldn't have come at a worse time. Now the bot lane is still under pressure. The keep is actually losing HP. They have to defend the keep. They have to defend the Immortal. There are too many fronts where they have to fight, and this is just not happening. So despite the fact that they won a big battle, got the level 20 talent, they're going to lose the Immortal. And the bot lane, where the Immortal is going to push through, has nearly lost the keep already. So fact of the matter is, keep's gone. That one you can kiss goodbye.
And I honestly think game's gone there. I don't think they have enough damage to kill anyone, especially if Poik dies here. Bless shield, that is game. Down he goes. And with no one left to do damage, Arthas, he's going to try his best though. Here's the Bloodlust. They're going to try and win the fight. 3v5. Is Bloodlust this good? Hasu's down. But there goes Breeze. And Zalia, separated from his team, has to take the wraparound. Immortal's uncontested. Zalia's just going to try and cheese the Immortal while the Wobby is trapped in base. But this is looking like it's it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, yes, Tazada is down, but now the keep is gone, and especially with Urel. I mean, this is a 4 versus 3 setup that they're rocking now, and they're even going for Chris again. And there it is. He came, he saw, and he died. Veni, Vidi, GG. That's that. Dead again, and the core gets attacked. This best of 5 starts off with a victory for Washed Up as they lock in the W in Battlefield of Eternity against the Last Dance. Get the Method Mayhem Grand Final. Nicely done by Washed Up as they lock in the 1-0 lead.
The Last Dance, though, showing they have that pep and they are ready to fight for it, taking the risks, the 3v5, the one chance to keep themselves in this, and they took some team fights, even though team fights hadn't been going too well for them, and were able to win some. They do have the potential, but Washed Up, showing why they are currently considered the best in Europe. Can they keep that crown for the rest of this best of 5 series?
I'm kind of hyped for the second map. Just Abathur would be nice. I think we could also see something like that happen on maybe Cursed.
Well, we'll have to wait and see as we are heading into the draft, ladies and gentlemen. And we will see if Abathur gets any priority, and if not, like you said, Cursed, potential to see him there. But for now, it's all about Towers of Doom. Last Dance. What are we going to see removed here as their first ban? The Rhaegar worked well for him, but they banned the Abathur. Well, he was in the draft.
The hating. Yeah, always hating the slug, especially against Hasu's teams. But yeah, Towers of Doom, the home pick for Washed Up, so as Last Dance. Yeah, for Washed Up is actually great. Last Dance wants to have first pick, first ban. They get it. Now ETC gets banned again. Is Tazada led through? That's another question. In this case, obviously, the first pick goes over to the red team, so yeah, it's a decision that Washed Up has to make. Ana gets banned as usual against Banana Age, but Washed Up now with the decision making. Do they ban Tazada? And the answer is no. They ban Rhaegar instead. And the only question that remains is, will Last Dance jump onto the Tazada train for Chris like they did in previous games, or do they just simply say, no, on this map we highlight and prioritize something else instead, which I kind of don't think, but they're waiting a long time for the login, so apparently they have a different hero to consider. It's Tacita nonetheless, though.
Yep, if they were considering another hero, Chris, even though he did lose on Tacita earlier today, he still believes, and of course it did give them a lot of grief in that last map, so it makes a lot of sense. But here we go, second Medivh of the day, and Urel, once again, stolen away from Wobby.
Yeah, Rayquaza really likes it, and you could tell on the last map they had a lot of fun with that hero. I mean, he really destroyed a lot of the plays that the Last Dance were trying to set up. Now, Hazop's on Medivh is obviously terrifying, and the question is always, what do you play with that? I'm still coming back to my Carrigan. So if Nick is able, to get shielded as well, and there's a lot that he can do with this now. We got Lucio, though. We got Breeze on Garrosh. Someone banning out Zarya? That's another question. I mean, if someone bans Zarya, it's Washed Up.
Yeah, I don't think they do ban the Zarya. I think the Lucio is already enough speed boost for it. They probably just ban whoever was going to counter the Kerrigan, because with that Medivh, I think you might be right that Kerrigan could be seen here. They ban out Hammer, and that's fair enough. They play it themselves, but it's still just super solid for zoning potential, especially when you have a Garrosh. It's very, very hard to get onto Hammer, so it's a solid enough ban.
Okay. Moment of truth. What do you ban third?
I honestly think you might be right. It's the Kerrigan or the Diablo. One of the two.
Yeah, I mean,
Or Johanna, I guess. Or Johanna.
Masquerade also super strong on that, that's true. There's a Diablo ban,
Diablo.
okay, so they're targeting Masquerade with this.
So there should be Johanna and a range, and you save the Kerrigan for La. Oh, need his healer. Never mind.
Honestly, with Nick, you just never know. Nick is always the pick that they usually save for last, and then he just like brings in whatever. But do they really play Kerrigan here? I mean, he can play. The guy just can play everything that does damage. You can give him a Tracer. You can give him that Kerrigan. He's been playing Greymane a lot. Ooh, Brightwing. There's a bit of a global action.
That is a global action. Brightwing coming in here, and I still don't think this rules out Kerrigan, dude.
Well, they still need a tank.
Nah, you're Ralph.
Fair enough, fair enough.
Alright, so final two pickups for last dance.
So they get Brightwing in, but I really like that they realize that Brightwing alone can't really sustain with the heals here, so they have Medivh for that. And let's see what else, so there's that. Oh, there's our global on the other side, Dehaka. What is this, 2017? What's going on here?
I know, right? Wobby on Dehaka, cool to see, but yeah, definitely not the most usual, but Dehaka is a little more popular on this map than some of the others due to the rotations. Now Masquerade. Final pick, a main tank for the team, unless it's memes. But looking at this, Johanna makes the most sense. Johanna into Garrosh is the standard counter here, so that's what we should be expecting.
I'm Rob. Yeah, he got his Imperials again. Again, there's a lot of good stuff here. So Brightwing with the Polymorph, of course, when anybody comes in, has the Global as well. That helps them a little bit. You got Medivh for the additional shields. So that shouldn't really be a problem. But yeah, off we go. Map number 2, best of 5 series, 1-0 lead for Washed Up. Let's find out what they can do now against the Last Dance on Towers of Doom. Their favorite map. One of their favorite maps.
Yeah. I really like this Brightwing. Like you mentioned, it can't really heal alone, but what it can do is apply spell armor. And the damage output outside of Archon is Jaina Tacitor Q. That's their main damage output. So that spell armor from Brightwing is actually a little bit clutch. I'm digging it. The question is, do they have enough kill potential themselves?
I feel like they do. Yeah. If we see again these insane lockdowns with the lunge and just like the CC that follows up on it, there's definitely a chance for that. Now we have to keep our eyes on Medivh as usual when you have a Medivh in your setup, because he's just like incredibly impactful if you stack his baseline completely, if you're able to set these portals up properly. But there's a lot of tools in this team that can be incredibly annoying. Urel being one, the Polymorph from Brightwing, you have Medivh, so nuisance factor is definitely over 9,000 at this point when we're looking at the blue team. That's definitely true.
Can definitely see it, and in theory they could also... Actually, you already mentioned the Emerald Wind, right?
No, actually I didn't.
Okay, well, that's another great disengage tool if they wanted to go for it. Blink Heal is obviously the standard for keeping the team alive. But if they want to make it even more annoying, jumping onto Medivh perhaps as he portals, Emerald Winding with that could be fantastic.
Or if they want to make it more annoying, they can always pick Murky.
Always true.
As we're heading into our second game, we still got the lead for Washed Up. This is, of course, the best of 5 grand final at Method Mayhem. On the left side, Washed Up in blue. We got the Last Dance on the right side of the map. Lucio against Brightwing in this game. We got Dehaka also, and the main tank Imperius once again. A little bit more popular these days. Impactful for sure. But yeah, time to shine. Can Washed Up do it again? Can they get the 2-0 lead? Or will instead the red team lock in the victory on this map?
Last chance with stacks for days. No party mix to complete the mix, but it is going for that natural agility coming in from the... oh, hang on. Primal agility, sorry, but we're taking the focus onto Breeze and first blood applied.
Yeah, it ain't easy being breezy. So Garrosh goes down, Greymane comes in with a kill. Nicely done, well played. And that is washed up off to a good start here, I gotta admit. So yeah, nicely done by them. If they can copy that a couple of times, that would be great for them. Make it really tricky for the opponent's team, but yeah, good, off to a good start here for sure.
Portal comes out. Looks like they wanted to try and pick off Zalia, but he knows he's able to boop them away and prevent anyone from getting caught out of position. In fact, he's going to bully Nick a little bit here. Needs to be careful. He's fast, but he is squishy. Poik dueling Masquerade, and of course, Masquerade is winning because he's Masquerade and he's on Imperious.
Yeah, okay, let's have a bit of a look. The camps are taken. 1 minute is now in. Dehaka still top side. Urel, not so much though. She's actually starting to rotate down to the bottom of the map to help the team out if they want to invade here, which they decide to not do. So, well, actually, as I say it, Urel comes back. Masquerade was trying to go in. Garrosh says, "You gotta be kidding me, bro," and just throws him out.
Breeze was super close. I think if he'd just gone a little bit to the... If Imperious had stepped up a little more, Breeze could have put him in his own base.
Yeah. I mean, he goes full bouncer here, so yeah, at this point, he's just like, yep, you're not getting in here. I'm sorry. But still a bit of a lead in experience. Nothing crazy. Tazada is going to recover that in the middle of the map in just a second, but the pressure through the bottom as they're attempting to push the pumpkins into the towers and get the initial damage in. Again, they love playing on this map. The bot lane control that they oftentimes are able to establish here is super smooth. Oh my god, Breeze! Holy hell, what a setup with the CC here. A nice follow-up from Brightwing with the polymorph as well that nearly netted them another kill.
We are seeing the dream shot coming in from Brightwing. Range and cooldown reduction if you hit the center, and if you combine it with the Hush later on, that could be another big CC to follow up on the already very high crowd control composition that we are seeing from Washed Up. So they continue to take control, Hand of Freedom once again, and that is Ravens, I believe, coming in for the Medivh. More damage, please. Yep, definitely Ravens.
Yeah, also 11 stacks for him so far. I mean, stacking in general is going to be something that we have to keep our eye on, not only for Medivh with the 11, but also you look over to Jaina and the ice block that Chewie was working towards, the 10 stacks for Tacita right now. And here's a triple altar phase. So let's see who gets the early lead here. 2-for-1 trade is what we normally see.
Indeed. And the question is, how are they going to play this? Right now, it looks like easily the 1-for-1 as Wubby grabs his own. You can see that Urel finished hers off as well. Now, is Wubby going to make his way down to the bottom lane? Yes. He is waiting, though. No, he's going to be patient as his team were able to take a little bit of control. And they still have Jaina for one more delay. Brightwing going to top off Masquerade with that level 1.
Yeah. Celia's just being a pain. But the channel is still in. So we get the 2 altars against 1. Tiny lead now. But yeah, you're nearly done with the channel. And then Lucio just speeds in from the side. So they decided against fighting this one. Didn't want to take the battle here. Never really committed with the Haka to the bottom fight. And just said, okay, take the early one. It's not the most impactful. Again, you can fall behind very massively on this map and then still make a comeback by simply establishing control on lanes, taking those bell towers back and gaining some momentum with that. So the attempt of Last Dance to try and get some experience that the Haka can pick up on lane while the rest of the opponent's team is focusing on the objective is definitely, I mean, not really working just yet, but they're trying to also make sure that Washed Up is not walking away with too much XP since they are still pushing the bot lane and even take the tower down.
That's a charge-based build for this Imperious. Masquerade really trying to put the pressure onto Breeze right now. Does land the charger onto Zalia, but Zalia survives. Here comes the teleport, and the portal perfectly timed, not dropping Banana Rage in a position where he might get in trouble. But here comes Wubby, but he is prevented by the boop of, by everyone able to disengage.
Yeah, and that's always a bit annoying. If you're committing to your global with the Haka and then you don't get anything out of it, that's super annoying here. Now, they didn't lose out on a huge chunk of experience or anything because they already were able to push the lanes out, so that actually is super important because that could have backfired very, very quickly. Luckily for them, it didn't in this case, but yeah, still the play is being made here. As the rotations are in, slightly in experience, nearly level 3 now. Move down to the bottom of the map as we have now 2 altars spawning. And all of this is still happening before level 10. So level 10 is not going to really be a factor for this one unless the fight is super drawn out.
Very true. There's a double altar phase. Banana Rage already able to channel his in. continues to move forward with that extra dream shot as well. He's able to poke from much longer range, but right now it doesn't matter as his team has control over the objective. Dahaka attempts to drag. Zalia pushes off away. Will stay alive. Good force wall buys Banana Rage enough time, and they get the double.
Yeah, that is actually starting to become a little bit more annoying now for the Last Dance. Now, they lost in total 3 additional shrines. There's another 12 points that they're trailing behind, and they're behind in experience. So they are losing quite a bit. Urel is the one still rotating around here, as you can see, trying to catch the experience topside, which should grant them level 10. And then, theoretically, they should be able to... I was actually thinking about maybe them pushing in the bottom fort a little bit. They won't be able to take it, get some damage in. There's no camps on the map. So trying to force a fight or anything. Yes, there it is, ley line. But do they really have enough for this? Because I don't really think so. That surprised me a bit. There's the drag as they're going for Brightwing. Banana H is still alive. Breeze, on the other hand, could fall. The Ring of Frost. And Tassadar didn't connect that either.
Banana Rage with a wonderful multi-man cleanse to prevent that Ring of Frost from landing. He tried to Emerald win that fight as well, but is interrupted by Dahaka. And both teams blowing cooldowns one after the other, and neither one picking up a kill.
Yep, and now it's again time for the Pumpkins. So, I mean, it's still a very, very even game. It's a kill against 0. The big difference is simply when it comes to structures. There's a bit of a lead now, but that's about it. Slight experience also for the blue team. Once again, the fight. They're trying to steal the Pumpkins away. They get them as well. Dahaka zoned out, and now can they escort them into the bell tower? That would be the big win if they can actually manage that too. So far, it doesn't seem like it's going to be possible for them. Most of the Pumpkins have already been eliminated. Well against Dahaka still in the middle, but down here the defense is set, and so far only one makes it through. Thrown out. Caught by Garish and just thrown back.
So Wubby's in trouble. He's going to make it out though. Speed boost from Zalia. They're going to try and drag, but denied by the polymorph here. They look for another chance to fight. Wubby still staying alive in this fight. Lucio currently speeding, might need to heal Wubby up here. How long can they really contest this? They're even on talents. There comes another move down. Portal used. They were trying to pick off Chris, who is completely out of mana.
I really like that we have a couple of games here that are not that kill intensive. You can really tell that this is a well thought out strategy from both teams. They're super cautious. They don't want to overstep. They're not engaging into any fights where they think they might lose. Especially for Hazo and his team, it's kind of important because they want to keep stacking Medivh and make sure that he doesn't die before he's done with all of that. But that's another 4 shots fired. And now we're looking at 36 points against 20. Now, as we said before, you can always come back on this map if you gain momentum and you can take bell towers, but up to this point at least, it has been washed up that have been running that momentum and making all the decisions here. So the Last Dance, they will have to hit a moment where they can push this back, and so far this hasn't reached it.
They do have these teamfight turning heroics though. This is where they could get the chance, but they need to try and find a teamfight first as Breeze moves in. They look for Masquerade here. They're going to burn the taunt. Masquerade is focused, they move him in, Black Hole pulls him in, and they pick up Medivh, losing them stacks. Masquerade, though, is doing so much damage counter to Wubby, who's able to burn. They try and heal up. He will escape, and they get a kill in exchange for basically every heroic.
Yeah, in the meantime, Jaina has been still at the bottom of the map here, doing a thing there too, or rotated back, so... That is annoying. Medivh down and Hazu losing all of his stacks. That's actually a huge setback for Washed Up. So Hazu at the same time going straight in for the pause. Now, it's actually kind of a bit of a meme at this point that he, of course, oftentimes has a couple of tech issues. That might be another one of those, as we have another 3-2-3 moment over here. So apparently all the mice are dying today. But if that was the reason why he died there, then he should switch that thing out. Either way, no matter what the reason was, it's annoying. Losing all of the stacks on Medivh this late in the game is a bit of a pain, despite the fact that they're still ahead in points on the core. But of course, they lost the experience lead now, and they're even trailing behind the talent.
Yeah, finally the Last Dance, able to pick up any momentum at all just with that kill. With that level 13, you can see on the mini-map, they are starting to do the Sapper camp. It looks like they might want to try and control bottom lane, which is, of course, the best lane to control on this map. And they get the split soak with Dahaka. This is the last dance, really showing game control here, map awareness, knowing what to do to bring themselves back into the game.
It's a really annoying situation for Washed Up now, because up to this point, they were the ones mostly calling the shots and dictating the pace. Now this can easily flip. I mean, it was always a very, very fragile balance between them. They dominated on the objective, but everywhere else it was pretty much dead even. Now that the camp over here is taken away, what you just said could definitely happen, an attempt to establish control bot side. Now the wall is still there, at least partially, and the next altar is now spawning. There's of course another pumpkin camp to be taken, and there's still Dahaka as the global top side, trying to get more experience for the team, get them even farther ahead. And that's exactly what the Last Dance needs if they really want to win this game, because again, they lost a lot of ground on the objective. So for Washed Up, on the other hand, this is an opportunity to maybe force a fight and turn things back to normal.
Try to force their way in the last dance. Trying to move in. Banana Rage will get the channel, but can they get some kills out of it? Good knockback from Dayquaza. Portal used by Banana Rage, and everyone's able to get out. Breeze tries for a stun, but again, Dayquaza with the interrupt is shutting down these attempts from the last dance to try and get a lead here. They dodge Masquerade though, they might try and pick him up here. Breeze with the toss, misses the follow-up stun though, and Leyline will prevent any hard engage.
And let's not forget they got the altar too, so it's 16 to 36 now. So slowly but steadily. Oh, that drag! And again, Brightwing with the big boy save. Banana Age making it look good over here. Really nicely done by him. That was a clutch save, and they are able to keep Nick in play. Uralden again goes down. Not even Banana Age can save her, but they get the counter kill. Greymane comes in. Nick is able to eliminate Jaina, but the fight isn't over by any means.
Just out of range of Chris's Q. Nick flees and escapes. And the question is, can they get Masquerade? He's the last person in range for them to pick up the kill to make it a 2-for-1. And the last dance, in what might be the messiest fight we've seen today, pick up the double kill. And they are now finally going to be able to take control over bottom lane.
Yep, and that is the problematic part. The kill trade is not really all that much of a problem. The problem is more so that they now lose the bot lane control, and that comes just as the triple altar phase gets announced. So it's a huge problem here as well.
Nicely done. By the last dance, they make their way for the objective, and they've got to get as many of these as possible. If they don't get at minimum 2, I'm going to be incredibly disappointed, because they have the talent advantage. They don't have the man advantage anymore, but they've got to take control somehow.
Yeah, this is rough now. They should at least get 2. And that's 10 points of the core. So 26 to 12 should be what we're ending up with. Actually 13, only 3 shots fired, obviously. So, yep, there we go. Half a level is still missing. Now, in that last encounter, what they really needed, of course, more portals from Medivh here, or just like the shield, but it's always easier said than done. Playing around that cooldown is not really all that easy. But, yeah, it's 3 kills against 2 in favor of Last Dance, and they need to get something done here. They need to reclaim their bell tower. Washed Up wants to take this, but they are now pressured. One flip
they make
in.
One sapper in, and they
Still
grab
works.
the second set. So how are they going to make their way back into this? Right now, Wobby burns Isolation, trying to get it here. And oh no, down goes Garrosh as well. Just suddenly, in less than a second, everything's falling apart for the last dance.
Yeah, well, again the setup here. Ring and goodbye, Imperius. Nicely done. The quest is completed too. Brightwing is eliminated as well. Even with the Leyline, they can't do anything here. Hazops, if he falls again, that means that the stacks are reset once more. He seems to be able to get away here. But holy hell, it started off so well for Washed Up. The kill against Garrow was huge. And then, of course, losing Imperius, losing Brightwing. Off to a good start, but quickly shut down by Last Dance. Greymane is trying to reclaim the bottom bell tower, but the red team is trying to at least get the boss for this.
Now, Yrel could try and steal this. Not going to do it, though. Zoned away, Medivh's here, no Leyline. This will be the boss taken. Greymane will reclaim bottom lane. You can see Garrosh teleporting in via the tunnel to that middle lane, and they looks like they're going to try and go for the double. There's the Oracle. They can see who's there. And no, it looks like they might actually just trade 1 for 1. Even though they will still be very far down. Breeze, couple stuns, and they let it go over.
Yeah, so it's ending up in, I mean, single digits now, 14-9 is what we're going to see. But this is still incredibly close if you consider where all of this started. So it's 4 bell towers against 4. So the bottom bell tower control was traded for a grab on the boss, which they decided was enough for at least the time being. But it's still that level lead for Last Dance, which is the bigger problem, because once they have level 20 talents, and it's a completely different story.
Very true indeed. With the Last Dance moving around, camps about to spawn on the left-hand side. And Breeze waiting for his moment. Next altar phase looks like it might be a double bottom and mid lane. Oracle sees this camp being taken. Zalia is trying to annoy Dayquaza. Breeze gets polymorphed though. He moves in Black Hole, but he is deleted. And Leyline turns that fight around. Full retreat coming out of the Last Dance, but can they get out?
Really well done now. So Breeze down 5 versus 4. They are trying to chase a bit more, but with Zalia around and him speeding everybody up, they're getting out without any trouble, or at least for a time it looked like it. But now we have Whoopi locked down for a second. That Blizzard damage against Dayquaza is a bit of a problem though. But that was an important kill. The question is just how much more can they get out of it, because Washed Up now has a 5 versus 4 on the map, and this is the opportunity that they need to use here to do at least something. I mean, they look, not even that. Not a single one of these pumpkins makes it in. 20 seconds for Garrosh. They take the next camp. Now, of course, with the altars activating another 13, there's a small window that they have where they might be able to get a channel or two. Let's not forget that Last Dance is down to 9 points on the core, so this is actually incredibly close. If they lose both of these altars, it's a single point for them.
Garrosh about to respawn, but he's still not going to be available for this fight for another 6 seconds due to travel time and portal time. Shots already coming in from mid. Garrosh not even taking the portal, he's just going to run down to bot lane to make his way to the team and not get caught in the rotation. Wobby able to delay with just sheer fear factor. Burrows, he tried to juke out the Celestial Charge, and he will do so, but the polymorph comes out. Garrosh has arrived, looks for Nick, taunts on the portal, Black Hole, but he takes the portal, and the Ring of Frost hits no one, but they're still going to try and make their way in. Leyline's seal will buy time. Where's the follow-up? Good charge, it's too early though, the charge won't hit anyone.
The Ring of Zoning didn't do anything, and now Jaina gets punished for that fail as well. Bam, down already, 5 against 5 kills. Over here, 20 nearly in play now for Last Dance, but it's a 5 versus 4 against them. Ooh, this is going to be clutch. I mean, if that ring connects, and they can do so much there, but in this case, for once, it didn't really work out. Once more, the attempt of Whoopi to go for the tongue and the drag. Dayquaza's coming in, stunning them into the wall. The Masquerade is looking for the follow-up. 20 talents are ready, as we said. Are they going to get their hero? No. Oh, I'm furious. It's so close. They can't afford to lose this altar. They would put them down to 1 single point. They're fighting the entire time, even without Jaina, despite the fact that they don't have 20.
They're trying to hold it together. Masquerade's being dropped low. They get a stun onto Dayquaza. If they can keep him locked down before he can get the defender off, they might be able to kill him. There's the isolation from Whoopi. They need to kill Dayquaza, but Whoopi's the first to fall. Emerald win for the turn. Black Hole will buy them time, but they've got to hold this. If they lose the fight, they lose the game, because bottom could be taken. They have to either retreat and keep bottom safe or defend this, and they will just back away, keeping themselves safe. 4 damage to the core, bringing them down to 1.
1 single point on the core against 14, and now it's 20 versus 20. Boss isn't up. Mid lane gets attacked. Urel for the defense. And now, of course, we are looking at pumpkins. Get all of the camps. Try to establish more control here. But it is getting nasty in here. 1 more altar is all that they need. 1 boss or escorting a pumpkin towards the death zone. And this game is over, and Washed Up would take the 2-0 lead. Last Dance is literally down to the last leg.
Chris playing back, just zoning as best he can with Lightning. Medivh in position though, and he has Leyline. Could be all they need to set it up if we see the Last Dance grouping up for too long. Don't be surprised to see Hasu popping out the sky and setting up for a kill. Breeze desperately trying to find someone to kill to keep them back in this game. Oracle sees no one's in the bush, they rush this down. Boss is available though.
Another camp taken. Bosses up top side. They are actually even portaling in, double checking that nobody is there. They need to really control every single aspect of this game right now. If they make a single mistake, a single misstep, and allow the opponent a bit too much time, it's going to be a problem. They might actually be the one to go for the boss, simply in an attempt to remove it as a tool off the map. But of course, the bottom bell tower suffers as a result. That rotation, on the other hand, with Lucio nearly caught them. Whew. That one got spicy quickly. That was really, really close getting away from this.
All right, they have full vision. Vision is important here because if they see Greymane disappearing, then that's a potential core that's a potential boss that is being taken. As long as they have eyes on Greymane, they might be good here as they begin to move forwards. Looking for the opportunity. This is a really good time to use Oracle right now. They have to have eyes on everyone to make sure that that boss isn't taken. Again, Medivh still with Medivh cheats available with Leyline. Wubby beginning to channel, but it's all about delay tactics right now. Washed Up are in no rush. They're just waiting for the last dance to make a mistake.
Yeah, Chris done also with the stacking, so that's a completed quest. There's still a bit more damage coming in. Poik, the one sitting around at the bottom. Oh, the drag actually missing. Whoopi not able to lock that one in, and the fight immediately breaks out right in front of him. Goes for the essence, pops that. We still have Urella in play. Brightman comes in to help out. The ult is used. There's the ley line. Dodged by Whoopi, that's a good one. Ring doesn't hit anyone either. This is actually a little bit of a scrappy battle that we have here, but it seems like Breeze is the one who takes the blunt of the damage together with Poik. And still a bit of a play around here with Washed Up as they are now falling down to the bottom of the map to drop and kick the fountain.
Drag is good. Protection comes out. Charge onto Poik. He gets the ice block. He's gotta run though. Here comes Urel looking for it. Wubby, the first to die again. He's focused down. Poik did survive though. They've got to try and turn this around. Chris has almost no mana, but down goes Breeze. This is falling apart as Poik is... Does he survive? As an accidental right click on the portal. Poik finally finished off by Nick. And that just leaves Zalia, and he cannot hold this alone.
No, he's going to fall here as well. I mean, he has two choices, run away or die, but he won't be able to interrupt it long enough. He's doing what he can, and he's doing an admirable job here, but that's the end of Zalia. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the game. The best of 5 continues, of course, as Washed Up locks in a 2-0 lead against The Last Dance. Great play here on Towers of Doom. And yeah, nicely done. Not much more to say. Washed Up with a 2-0 lead, an incredible performance here. But the series isn't over yet. This is a best of 5, so one additional map win is still needed.
Absolutely, and this is so familiar. What everything I'm about to say here, and that is Washed Up looking very strong and in control for most of that game, but the last dance, win one team fight, start the comeback, and then can't finish the job. This time it's because there's no core to rush, they have to wait for the altars, and then Washed Up regain a foothold and regain control. But in this case, the last dance, is it maybe time for them to pick a map? Or are they just comfortable with what is left? Every other map. No other maps are like Towers of Doom, obviously. You can't exactly rush the core. You can rush the core on any map now.
Yeah, I mean, again, they are the more practiced team here, or at least they should be. And they've been showing this on map number 1, map number 2. Would assume that on game number 3, they will try to continue at the same exact coordination and discipline that we've seen on the previous 2 maps. But of course, for Last Dance is also an opportunity to just bring this back a little bit. And I guess we're going to jump into the game as soon as the teams are ready. But they had a little more time, of course, to set everything up. Also look at all the technical equipment, make sure that everything is fine there as well. We seem to have had some issues on both sides, actually. So yeah, definitely ready to roll. So as soon as they're ready, we're going to jump in and we're going to see what the draft is going to get through. And then also, of course, if we finally get that Kerrigan.
Absolutely. I'm excited for the Kerrigan. It is game number 3, getting ready to go. And we are excited. Can the Last Dance bring it back in game number 3 here in Method Mayhem on Tuesday? Because Tuesday is Heroes Night here with Method Mayhem. And we are ready. We're finally in the draft. And it is time.
All right, let's go. Game number 3, the 2-0 lead for Washed Up as we're heading into Tomb of the Spider Queen. And of course, there's a couple of questions that we have. I personally want to know what's happening around 2 heroes. So potential pick on Tracer, since we have 2 Tracer players, 1 on each side. And also Nyx Kerrigan. When it comes to the Ana ban, I don't think anybody is shocked anymore that Ana gets banned against Banana. The Tacita ban, I know it comes as a huge surprise to all of you that Tacita is getting banned out. Not. But that will set us up for the rest of this. Heroes to watch out for, again. Hana maybe also another one to keep an eye on with the wave clear that she gets in. What do you think about Zul here as they played on, for example, Infernal Shrines in a similar fashion?
I wouldn't hate either build of Zul. The ones they play on Infernal Shrine, it's another good map for it. A lot of small choke points, so that massive slow style build would be very effective. And if not, it's a pretty reasonable map for tank Zul as well, so I wouldn't hate to see either style. For now, though, the Medivh is a respect ban, and Rhaegar a sensible ban as well.
Yeah, bans are so far pretty good, putting us in a position where very likely we're going to see that Malfurion follow up again. Could see the old man as well. First of all, we got ETC now in for Breeze, so he gets his hero, and there it is. Dequaza, third time in a row. Urel. He really has a little bit of a favorite hero today, it seems. So Urel whenever possible. There were times when we saw him on abundance of heroes, but now it's all about the blue goat. Whereas Masquerade locks in the Johanna so that he has the wave clear in the rotation. And Chris is locking that Vala in again, going for the cowgirl.
They had the Vala last time. They ran this Zul composition, and there it is. Poik picking up the Zul. They're trying to repeat their success on Infernal Shrines with this Zul Vala combination. And Breeze again on the ETC.
Okay, so let's go. Hazops, Banana H, and Nick, they still need the heroes, but the bands come in. The last dance. Do they show some respect for Nick's Carrigan or not? And does Nick actually play it into this? Of course, if you have the TC on the other side, you always got to be a bit careful with that too. There's a Malfurion ban. That doesn't really come as a surprise. I highlighted him already earlier. If you have ETC, then the follow-up with Malfurion is kind of neat. With the setup that Washed Up has, there's a good chance that they are picking their support in X, and that could be Deckard Cain, it could be Stuko, there could be a lot of different picks here. But limiting the pool for the opponent a little bit is definitely not going to hurt.
Final ban out for the last dance. No supports have been picked yet. No damages have been picked yet for the Washed Up. So what's a good damage to ban? They banned the Jaina. Greymane would have been another one I'm looking at, but with ETC and Zul, Greymane could have struggled a little bit. So the Jaina makes a lot of sense. And of course, we already know Washed Up are very, very good at Jaina.
Okay, so let's see. I'm really curious to see what's happening now. For especially the damage. Nick is very likely going to pick last. That's what he usually does. Stays a little bit more flexible around it. Again, Deckard Cain already mentioned it. Very likely the pick for them. Either him or Stukov. And since we already seen Deckard, that makes a whole lot of sense. We got Jimmy again. Currently played by Nick, but there's always the chance that they swap this around.
Yeah, and that might be what they're trying to do. Trying to pull out the bait here. To open up for Kerrigan. It's a small map. She'd be able to get around very easily. Kerrigan into Zul ETC would be a risky play, but we've just seen what Nick can do with it. Here comes the Yorick, and yeah, they're just running the same build. Basically, almost exactly the same as that Infernal Shrines draft.
Yeah, they indeed do. And here comes the last pick. So either Hazo or Nick is going to play the last hero, depending on if they want to swap it around or not. But they go up against pretty much the setup that Lovers Fan Club lost to on Infernal Shrines earlier today. And then Junkrat set up for Hazu. Okay, so we got a lot of interrupts. We got a lot of poke from the outside so that you can interrupt the turn-ins. Tomb of the Spider Queen is the map. And yeah, I mean, solid setups. I like it. And especially the Last Dance combo worked, of course, beautifully well earlier on against Lovers Fan Club. Let's find out if it works against Washed Up too.
It's going to be exciting to see. So with ETC on the board, we have to count Moshpit interrupts, and the answer is literally everyone. Everyone on the side of Washed Up has potential to get a Moshpit interrupt. So the question is, does Breeze pick it? Does Breeze take it for the fear factor, or is this a stage dive game?
I mean, even if it's just for the memes, to hit it somewhere in the middle of nowhere, you have to go for that. It's literally their logo, okay? So...
Guys, this Bruiser Camp is killing Zul. Breeze, I got this.
They're not dancing, I don't understand.
Alright, we are getting ready for game number 3. If Washed Up are able to take this down. They will win the grand finals in a 3-0. If the Last Dance can take it, though, they may be able to take us to a reverse sweep, but they've got a long way to go.
Yep, and let's find out if they can actually do that, because again, reverse sweep, they have to win 3 in a row now. This is already match point for Washed Up, and we're going to find out if they can pull it off. Game number 3, Washed Up with a 2-0 lead, as mentioned. Last Dance. They, of course, don't want to go down without taking at least one map, so let's see if they can do that. It's not going to be easy against a team that plays such a coordinated style as what we've seen from Washed Up here today, but definitely not completely impossible. So time will tell as we're kicking off the third and potentially final map of this series.
Bold strategy for Anduin coming in here, and Block Party. Very important against this level of competition with ETC. This is a good map for stacking prog rock, but the burst protection against Raynor is going to be the big deal here. So it makes a lot of sense to see that popping in. As for now, Wobby just dueling with Dayquaza. They've been having their own rivalry during this game as well, and in this case, Dayquaza will come out on top again.
Yeah, that URL setup. It's kind of funny. I mean, Whoopi was really known for his URL plays, and now we have Dayquaza going up against him, just continuously picking the exact same hero here and just saying, like, yeah, that's mine now. Was once yours, now I made it mine, and you just have to deal with that. And so far, he's been dominant on it. But I'm really interested in the setup for Last Dance now, because that one did so well on the macro level earlier against Lauber's fan club. It's a bit of a different map here, of course, when we're looking at Tomb. Much smaller, much more condensed, the lanes are closer together. But it's still, of course, possible for them to make a few plays here, use that wave clear to their advantage, take some of those web weavers down, and when they go up against them, or just simply control these rotations. And yeah, fun game for sure. Series in general was great. We had a fantastic first tournament here at Method Mayhem.
Could not agree more. This has been an absolute blast with some insane games. Now let's see if we can have one more. The answer is, of course, we can. Chris Azalea could begin working down this Bruiser camp, clearing that out for extra pressure, mirrored on the other side by Banana Rage and Nick. No surprises there, while it's tank versus tank, and Zool versus Junkrat in the top lane, and offlaner versus offlane in the bot lane. Everyone's just soaking, very safe, very calm, nothing out of the ordinary so far.
Yeah, nobody going for the Siege Giants yet, which is also kind of noteworthy, since oftentimes that's the first focus point of the games, but now it was more about the Bruiser camps, as we said. A little bit of a wait here for Zelia as he sees the blue team's camp taken. He delays the pick on the red side. Wooby checks the bottom. He's all alone. There's nothing happening here. He might actually even die to this. At least he's going to take a lot of damage. And is able to walk away here with Austin's renewal, but still, that one, yeah. It forced a rotation of the blue team. They committed some resources to this, but they get the camp, and that's the important part for them.
It's slow base Zool once again, as we see Jadis coming in at level 4 for him, so they are 100% going for the mirror here. Mortal Compass as well. Sorry, Moral Compass coming in for Anduin on level 4. Goes for those big burst heals when you combine that with that level 1 bolt strategy. See if it works out for him. He's all taken out. No Jailer stacks for a while because he's dead so.
Yep, and taking down by Junkrat. So with that, they didn't really lose a whole lot of gems or anything, so they're still going to be fine on that account at least. But that was a good setup for the early kill, and it of course gives them a little bit more momentum, and that allows them to turn in. If you have a 5 versus 4 running, you can keep your opponent a bit more at bay, and that allows you the freedom to get the first turn in secured. So 31 gems are locked in. They still need one more in order to have enough gems in total to go for the Web Weaver wave, which they have now picked up. But can they deliver the rest of them?
Finally enough gems for the Last Dance as well. Wobby's trying to channel in, but no way Dayquaza is going to let him here. Forces him to back up a bit. And this is just the game of turn in wraparounds. Whoever can find their angle is going to get the first turn in, unless we see a kill come in. Nick is going very aggressively, trying to do damage to Chris.
Yep, and still the offlaners, of course, are also going to be important here. Urel and Whoopi going up against each other the entire time here, not allowing anybody to turn in. Nick is even moving in to help out with that. Needs to be careful as the team was trying to cut him off. That didn't quite work. 7 talents are in. Divine Steed. There's a full multi-shot setup for Vala, of course, once again. And more damage against Whoopi at the bottom of the map, as he, time and time again, uses the Austin's renewal here to keep himself topped off and make sure that Anduin isn't forced to jump in and help him out here.
Playing it safe for the moment. Both teams really trying to find everything. Johanna's denying middle, Urel's denying bottom, and Poik going very far forward here to make sure that we didn't see the turn in from Dayquaza. Hand of Freedom has to be used due to the Drain of Hope, but more stacks gained by those jailers.
Yeah, lockdown. They get some, and the follow-up. Yep, there it is. Can they take Breeze? No, he slides out. But I love these setups. I mean, again, oftentimes when you just have any kind of stun that works even with the Blessed Shield later, but in this case, of course, with Deckard Cain, you have a stun, you can set the Mine of Junkrat into action and then just simply try and book the target into the team or maybe into tower range. They tried to do the same thing here with ETC, didn't quite work out because he was still able to slide out, but it just showcases incredibly well how dangerous this setup is and how in an ideal world they would try and get the kills here.
Nick continuing to bully Zalia, and finally, with that zone washed up, are able to get the first set of Web Weavers of the game. This will be pressure onto all the lanes, of course. Which lane will they choose to prioritize? Urel is, of course, still staying bot lane, just to make sure they get value there. Where do Washed Up put the rest of their efforts? It looks like mid lane may be the choice, while Junkrat is going to just do a slight cheeky split push.
I mean, with all of the setup that we have for wave clear that we are seeing on the red team side, they should actually be able to defend this without losing too much. They have some incredible clear heroes here and need to put them to the test now. The main aggression is happening in the middle, as we can see now, so that's where they are attempting to get as much damage done as possible. Just taking a few walls down would already be a bit of a win, so that would definitely help. But let's see how much they can get out of this. I mean, for the time being, Web Weaver the bot lane is still doing some work. In the middle, the entire wall has been destroyed, so that's already nice. At least a fountain, if you could drop that, that would of course be great. But not so sure about that right now.
Poik zones everyone else away, and level 10 is hit simultaneously with no forts down, both teams grabbing it, and it is gonna be Mosh Pit. Breeze with no fear against a comp where everyone can interrupt him. He says, I'm gonna do it anyway.
I mean, I would have been shocked to see a stage dive over here. It doesn't really give you too much. The thing with Mosh Pit on the map is just simply that you can still I mean, even the threat of a Mosh Pit forces the opponent to hold a few abilities back. So that alone is already great. Masquerade gets interrupted just half a second before he's able to complete the turn-in. That's a bit unfortunate for them, but outside of that, we still have 61 gems for them, so they could go for the double turn-in here. But there's tons of gems for the last dance. They hold 90 gems, so they have enough for a double turn-in as well.
They very much do, and they try to find their angle though, but Washed Up continuing to hold them back and deny them. Camp is taken, the Yorick's in danger. He has 39 of these gems, but they're not able to catch him. Sadie with a cheeky heal. They play it safe, and the Yorick holds on to the gems and his life.
Yeah, what else though? I mean, right now, we haven't, again, this series in particular just showcases again some really high level play here, and you can also tell because we don't see a lot of kills, aka there's not a ton of mistakes being made that you can capitalize on. Sometimes it snowballs a little bit out of control, but so far that hasn't really happened in this series either. So Chris with another strafe tries to pad his damage numbers a little bit, but they are already zoned out of the turn-in spot. They're trying to get something done here with Jailers from Zul to maybe force out the Iron Skin, maybe try if they can follow up on it. Hasn't happened so far. It's still 1 kill against 0. It's 11 versus 11, all about the wave clear, and just a desperate attempt to turn in again as both teams hold a ton of gems, especially the red team. I mean, Leo alone has 42. They have 112 gems that they hold. Breeze is under attack. He holds 22, is sliding out again, but it's insane the control over these points.
Poik was so close for the turn, and Zalia is going to have to come in for another interrupt. Barely catches Masquerade with that. The animation of that Divine Star is kind of interesting, so cool to see him actually grab that. Breeze back in away, in trouble. Face Melt will shut down Dayquaza a little bit here, but here comes the Riptire. And it's going to be finally Wobby turning in his gems, and his team will get the Web Weavers.
It's actually kind of interesting. Urel moving away from this and not actually holding that. So they allow the turn in. Yeah, it's 13 versus 13 in just a few seconds, so it will be even talents on the teams as this comes through. But again, how quickly can Nick in particular take this down now? He's the one who has to do the most damage here, thanks to his level 1 talent, of course.
See what they can do. Breeze gets again hit by another concussion mine, forced to back away. Level 13's hit by both teams again, nearly simultaneously. They're still holding this together. Mid-Web Weaver gets absolutely bodied. Zalia, though, takes some good damage, but Masquerade very patient with his iron skin, and as such, they don't choose to engage him.
Yeah, the top doesn't really do a lot, so they can take this one out easy. Over here, though, this is a little bit different. Masquerade is now coming in. They need to be so careful there, too. They're obviously still in a position where they hold tons of gems, so if you die now and lose them, that's always the ticket back into the game. If you fall a little bit behind, that's not really the big problem. If you lose the gems and you don't get any objective pressure, then you're in trouble.
Breeze continued to try to be annoying. Fort health definitely went a little bit in favor of just the last dance here, with top lane taking more damage than their mid lane. As such, they come out a little bit ahead, and of course, both teams have enough for another turn in. The last dance almost have enough for two. In fact, Soda washed up, but they're going to try and move forward. The great use of the light bomb was not enough, as Breeze is now in full retreat, trying to keep Poik alive. Wobby trying to deal with Dayquaza, and Chris is kiting everyone. Good focus, but a lovely Ardent Defender keeps him alive, and Breeze is now in serious trouble. Concussion mine, he's actually put to freedom. He will escape.
Yeah, they're all escaping. That was actually really clutch, because this is the dangerous moment. Once that you lose the first target, you're trying to recover the gems and get out of there. And if the blue team would have been able to just kill a few more heroes on that end, they could have denied so many gems to them. Instead, there's still 105 in the possession. Oh, Poik has 41. He cannot die. Now, the blue Web Weavers, they come down next, but oh my god, this is clutch. So clutch again. 2 kills against 0 as we're 11 minutes into this. Wooby in a bit of trouble down here. There's a drain. Wooby needs to get out of this.
Oh, he's delaying. He's buying time for his team. He knows he's going to lose the gems, but he's moved in for the time for the rest of the team to get here as they take out Raider. But is this going to be worth it? Lightbomb onto multiple weapons with the stay of one and listen onto 2. And that will be enough. Zalia and Poik take it out. Marshpit, though, turn it with the strength. And what Zalia lives as they turn it around, take it out Zool, but they grab Johanna. And that makes it a 3 for 2 somehow, going in favor of the last dance.
What was that with Moshpit? And all
yeah, what?
73 for Breeze. The Web Weavers have done some damage in the meantime, though. So of course it was great in terms of kills for the red team, but let's not forget that during all of this, the Web Weavers were still pushing. So at the end of the day, I'm not quite sure if that was really as successful as it might have looked. Because the question is, did we deny any gems to the blue team? And I don't really think so. I think most of them were picked up by Deckard Cain. So they still have 47. That's actually pretty solid for them. 16 versus 16 any moment now, but 1-4 down. One at the bot lane has taken some damage, the one at the top 2. But of course a slight advantage now in experience for the red team.
That feeling when you win a team fight, but you lose the mercenary camp you are fighting over and a fort. Not gonna feel good, but the last dance, like you said, a slight XP lead they have finally been able to acquire. Manticore on Valor is gonna be such a huge deal now, and there's that Decrepify for the Zool. This is where he gives so much team fight potential for the slows. Let's see if they can do it right now, just cutting back the Bruiser camp.
It's ridiculous how many gems they have. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I don't know what the record is, but they got to be getting close to it.
The record wasn't an A team. The record. Oh, Chris! What?
Zalia, you're a god, dude.
I think GFE, when Udall played with them, had at some point when I casted them like 250 or something. I don't know if they ever hit 300, but I think it was 250 at some point. So it was pretty nuts.
That is pretty crazy. Either way. Turn-ins are actually happening, and it looks like Washed Up are just going to get another turn-in here. They have enough gems. Top is being denied, but they can just rotate because no one's really defending it. Leoric, uh-oh. Is Leoric going to lose all these gems? He's getting focused. No, he Wraith walked away.
But again, those are pretty much hard stoppers right there. Whenever a hero like this drops low, then you know you're in trouble. So at this point, attacks keep coming in the mid lane. Most of all, we have still the attempt to turn in. 60 gems needed, 56 already delivered, so they're nearly done with it. Chris on 46, Poik on 11, Zalia's the only one who doesn't have any, so that kill, if it happens, doesn't matter. Well, it matters, but it doesn't matter, you know, at the same time. Breeze is the one that you want to get. 81? Yeah, he is aiming for the triple digits.
46 on Chris as well. He's forced to back up. Wubby will survive here. That was unfortunate though, and look at this. They're going for the double. Boss and Yrel will get the turn in right after the auto happens. And that is going to be an attempted double push here. Now, they notice Boss is being taken because it will still be showing on the minimap, but without Anduin, it is not worth the engage.
Exactly, they don't have a support. If it was any other hero, then they would most likely try and make a bit of a play here, but without the support, they just can't. So now instead, we have Web Weavers and we have the Boss, and that's a mad momentum that they are building up at the top in particular. But if they can now force a fight around this no matter where and get 1 or 2 kills, just imagine what could happen here. This game could literally end within just a few minutes if the gems are taken away, if the structures are taken down. Webweaver at the bottom of the map likely going to drop the keep. And Boss, I mean, 15 minutes in, it's not really the strongest of bosses that you can take on a map like this, but it's already packing a bit of a punch. If it's also enhanced by a Webweaver push, you are in for some trouble.
Trollnado comes out from the Boss, nearly catches Breeze, but he is able to survive here as the Dark Wave comes out. Blessed Shield looking for Breeze, 88. They use the Leap of Faith. I think that might have actually been a little early in this case. Chris also in trouble, but again, they stay alive, but this keeps gone.
Yeah, that is definitely keep. Honestly, if they would have gotten a few kills here, they could have gone for game. That's not the case, so... well, do they throw something else out? Doesn't really seem like it. I don't think they're making the play for it just yet. I mean, again, even if a little bit of damage would, of course, account for something here. But I don't think they can end this. They're waiting to see if they can pick up a kill, but it's not the case. So yeah, Boss is going to be eliminated one way or another. Ruby is still sitting tight.
They're trying to get a counter fight, and Tomb was used. Breeze backs away. They were trying to fight past this, but they don't get so. They just burn the Entomb. That somehow lived, but more importantly, the core lived, only taking 3% of the damage.
Yeah, they get another 41 gems, so they can turn in again. I mean, not get a Web Weaver wave, but they can at least, you know, turn in and make sure that they're not losing those gems later, which is also important. Quasar in particular is most likely going to try and get rid of that. But another camp is taken. Fort at the bottom of the map could also be eliminated if they just move in for it.
20.
Yes, a 20.
Online.
It's a clutch one. I mean, seriously, they could get another turn in here before... Nah, not quite. The window is too small. They will get close, but they're not quite going to get it. But they can steal this one away, that's true.
They will steal away that camp. I saw Seraphim, and I saw Radiating Faith as some of those level 20s. I would expect a Respect Your Elders from Decade, because that is a team fight winning. Yep, there it is. He was actually delaying his. And it is, of course, Execute for Reina. Junkrat yet to pick his.
Yeah, waiting for that. Other side, on the other hand, Farfly Quiver, as usual, to get a Manticore, get those mortal wounds in, and even the bolt. They nearly have enough for turning now. They're missing 2.
Yeah. Buried Alive, also available. And Anduin, double cleanse. You know what? That's fair. I understand completely, dude. Freeze up to 93 gems, by the way.
Yeah, 198. 198 in total.
Yep, they need Zul here right now. If they're looking for a fight, they have to have everyone here. Riptide comes in. Wubby, he's going for the back like Chris. He's so separate, but he could, of course, come over the wall if Zalia chooses to bring him. So, Buried Alive onto the Yrel. Here comes the Ancient Blessings. And Breeze! He bolts, using the cleanse to his advantage. He's in full retreat right now because they are in danger. Poik is low. Wubby is dropped. Breeze, he's got to get out of here. They can't fight until Wubby's back.
Yeah, they are in trouble. They are definitely in trouble right now. They are already losing ground here, and with the minion, actually with the camp pushing through, there's another turn in now. Oh my
On the bright side, they only lost a 10th of their gems.
Well, they lost 30 roughly, so they lost quite a few. Well, to be fair, 25 or something, but yeah, I don't know. It's kind of heartbreaking to see how many gems they have, and they just never were able to control the middle enough so that they can turn in with this. And now Washed Up is pushing through 18 minutes in, obviously trying to get more keeps and maybe even end the game. But this is rough. Honestly, Wubby's Entomb didn't really do anything. Like,
yeah,
Yrel was totally fine there. So there was no follow-up on it, and now they have to desperately try and defend this. I mean, Leo will be back in just another second, but it's keep in the middle under pressure. Oh, with the 100 gems! Breeze! Breeze! Oh, take down! Oh, Poik! Can they get the gems?
Wubby,
slowly. Oh, they have most of them. Top lane,
got 40.
Buried
Alive.
trouble. Oh, Leo is dead. This has to be it, right?
Yeah,
Keep
the buried
down.
alive got no one. Keep down. 2 keeps down. Zul's not even here. He's trying to clear up because he thinks they can maybe take the 3v5. Stay a while and listen. Zalia, he is in trouble if they finish him off. This is game. Down he goes. And that is it, Caldor. Our first Method Mayhem Cup champions are washed up with the 3-0.
Impressive 3-0 victory. They take it. Don't drop a single map in the grand final against the I was about to say like newcomers, coming backers. Like what? I don't even know. So yeah, they're coming back into the game, but what a series there again. And washed up incredibly solid. And honestly, I'm kind of okay with this. Getting the 3-0 here, there's room to improve for improvement, obviously, for the Last Dance, and that's hopefully what we're going to see in the next few tournaments. So I'm more than excited to see how they're going to improve from week to week. If they can at some point take Washed Up down, for now, Washed Up just a little bit too strong, and therefore the victor in Cup number 1, well deserved.
Well deserved, and I believe without dropping a single map.
Yep.
Washed Up. Really dominant, and they have lain down the gauntlet in Method Mayhem. And it's going to be and this is even more reason to choose Tuesday Night Heroes. And that is what it will be on Method Mayhem. Tuesday Night is Heroes Night right now because Washed Up, they are now our champions, and they will have to hold that title and hold that pressure going into the next cups. And of course, that monthly final at the end.
Yep. Pretty fantastic performance here by them, and I don't know, it's a pretty cool final day. I would have liked a few more maps between them, but definitely room for improvement for the Last Dance, which is cool to see. So they're coming back here now into Heroes. They are playing in the tournament series, and at the same time, it still shows, okay, there's still a little bit of room to grow for them. As a unit, as a team, they can't just simply come back, play a couple of days, and then also scrim and then immediately take down the top team that we had in Europe here. But also very impressive performance, of course, by Washed Up. I mean, big shout out to them. Being able to do all of that, they still went up against a team full of ex-HGC pros that were not only playing in HGC, but played at the top level of HGC, the top 2, top 3 teams. So really impressive here, and well done. Especially considering that some of the players on the side of Washed Up never even saw a glimpse of HGC.
Yeah, very true. A lot of them didn't make it, and in this case, though, it turns out practice makes you good. And in this case, Washed Up, they have actually more practice and more practice in the first place position than many of the other teams since HGC has dropped. Incredible performance. Absolutely insane. But like you said, every single week, these teams are going to be learning more about each other. And these teams with some of these returning players are going to be getting better. And that is why you should be tuning in every single week. I am so excited for next week, dude. I just want more now.
Yeah, next week is going to be great, especially after this performance. You know a little bit more about the power levels, and you of course can also like build that story up. Let's say Lauba's fan club comes back against one of these teams, right? So you have a little bit more context, especially after the break that we talked about earlier.
Very true. So, to talk about you guys in the chat once again, thank you for watching the first Method Mayhem for Heroes of the Storm, and thank you for all subscribing to the Method channel, because once again, we Method are using those subscriptions to match the prize pool here. Feels good. $1 for $1, meaning that 2,350 Method are putting in, you guys are boosting that up so much, giving these players all the more reason to play and try their hardest and supporting them as you do. There is also, if you're interested, Matcherino, where you will be able to support the players directly there. That reached already over 1,000. I can't even imagine how high the subs are right now, because an incredible job has been done by everyone for supporting this. And ! Subscribe to get more information on how you are supporting the players today.
Exactly. And of course, also, as we said before, for updates about the tournament series and everything, make sure that you follow Method on Instagram and on Twitter, twitter.com/Method.
And remember, everybody, Tuesday night is a Heroes Night here on Method, because the Method Mayhem is returning next week, and we will be having even more games. Hopefully, we'll see a lot of these teams returning for even more action to try and gain those points for that monthly finals. But from me and Caldor, until next week, that is basically going to be the end. Mr. Caldor, do you have any final words?
No, excited for next week, especially after the matches that we've seen today. It's going to be interesting how the teams perform next week and also which pairings we're going to see. If the bracket is going to be mixed up after all of this a little bit, it's going to be super exciting. So, yeah, looking forward to that already.
There's only one way to find out, everybody, and that is to tune into Tuesday Night Heroes Method Mayhem back next week, the same time with me and Caldor and all of your favorite teams. We hope to see you next time, and from us, have a very good night, and we'll see you next time.